enjoyed this week's episode, and please like this video, share with your friends and dock mates, and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us get more viewers like you.
All right, so before I get too far with installing all of the freshwater cold supplies and demand and hot water supply and demand, excuse me, we got to figure out where to put the high pressure water, fresh water pump that's going to service the house. So we've got a shower in the head, we've got the sink in the head, although we prefer to call them floats on a boat. We don't like calling them sinks on a boat. We've got the float in the galley and the cockpit shower on the swim platform. So four sources or four demands, four outlets for fresh water. So, and I wanted to keep all within the Whale Marine Products family. So this is what we got. We got this little kit. So it's the UF 2215. And it's rated, I think it's rated for up to 4 outlets. I don't really remember. What does it say? Doesn't really say. But 3 gallons per minute at 12 volts and 45 psi. And it's all set up to fit the regular Whale Quick Connect 15 millimeter fittings for the hose, which is what we've got here. So now what we've got to do is hook up the pump with this strainer. So the strainer gets clipped into there, and then your tanks get hooked up to this. And so this sucks the water out of your tank. It's passed through this accumulator tank. So this will help, it helps keep the, well, how do I explain? So the accumulator pump or accumulator tank is, it helps with consistent, even water pressure, and it helps with the cycling on and off of your pump. So in theory, it should also extend the life of your pump. But I liked the kit together because it kind of just made sense for us, and it'll satisfy our 4 outlets, and the 3 gallons per minute is full. Okay, so we're looking forward. So there's our mast, and if we come aft a little bit down here at this bulkhead, you can see where we've been spending the last few months of our lives. So this is the port side freshwater tank, and the starboard side freshwater tank is sitting right here. So I'm thinking this little gap or this little area on this bulkhead right here would be a good place to mount it. And actually, the nice thing about that is Whale says that's their preferred mounting orientation, or recommended right there. So kind of a vertical orientation. And notice what they've got here too is your water passes through here and goes out as you're using it. So your electric pump and everything is up here. So if you spring a leak in these fittings, which probably will at some point, the water's gonna drip down and away from your electrics, your pump housing and your pump head and everything here. The water will drip away from that. If you had it like this and you spring a leak at your fittings, then it could drip down and get into your pump. So we want to follow their recommended guidance to have it oriented like that. And what I think is going to work out is putting this guy right down in here. Somewhere like under this wire, above those hoses, kind of up in here. That's what I'm thinking. Doesn't that look alright? But I gotta make a little mounting bracket for it and isolate it from the bulkhead with maybe some rubber feet. But I think that'll do. The other thing I need to do is, let's see, do I need to do that? Let's see. Yeah, I want to keep this bolt right there. It's getting in the way. See that through bolt right there? I'm gonna put this down and not drop it. This guy. So if I nip him off, just the tail end of the bolt, and just keep the nut there and just nip that off, it'll be a way easier installation for our kit here. Yeah, it'll sit a little nicer, and I can clear that through hole there for any wiring that I want to do right here. I don't want the pump mounting bracket to cover that, so I will have to nip that off. And I do think we have plenty of space for our little filter here, so I'll test to fit that too. But I think for our boat and where the water tanks are, I think that's going to be the most optimal space and kind of the easiest thing, because there's already a really sturdy bulkhead there. So. Alright, so let's take a look at our little pump here in more detail and kind of walk through these instructions. So mounting instructions. Locate in a dry position with adequate ventilation and no more than 3 meters or 9 feet above the water tank. Well, actually we'll probably be a foot or so below the water tank. So I would assume below the water tank is okay if they don't want it more than 9 feet above the water tank, and maybe we can use gravity to our advantage. In normal use, ensure the pump cannot be submerged in water. Well, it is going to be at one of the higher points in the bilge, but in normal use, it will not be submerged in water. If that pump at that point in the bilge is submerged in water, we got bigger issues on our hands than worrying about this bad mamma jamma. The pump could be mounted horizontally or vertically, so we chose vertically. We recommend that the pump head is mounted below the motor, which we talked about. So if you get drips down here, the water doesn't drip onto your motor head and into your electronics of the motor. So we're going to do the recommended orientation of vertical on the bulkhead. There are 4 mounting holes in the accumulator tank base. Well, there's not holes, there's kind of these like, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There you go. See that little divot? I guess they will let you drill it for the size of fastener that you're going to use. Sure. Use 4 self-tapping stainless steel screws and washers to fasten base to solid surface and support the accumulator securely. All right. We can do that. It also says over here, where did I read that? Let's see. The pump is designed for supplying water in a marine vessel. Not suitable for flammable liquids, only for fresh water. Perfect. Here we go. A big bold note. Do not screw directly to the hole. Must be mounted on a bulkhead or additional board. So I thought that was funny. Of course you don't want to screw it, I guess, directly into your hole, because you risk puncturing your hole and sinking your boat. So I don't know why you would have to put that in there. Legal reasons probably, but but we're gonna do both. We're gonna do a bulkhead mount and a board, because that's just the way we do it around here. So we're gonna take this piece of HDPE. It's just about a 1/2 inch HDPE. We're gonna cut it to size, sand it. You know, I'll probably do a routered, nice round over edge on it too. We'll mount the unit to that, and then that board, that HDPE board with the unit on it, we'll mount it to the bulkhead right there. So yeah, that's the plan. Read your instructions, follow the guidelines, do your wiring. Got to do your wiring too. Remember that. Find the fuse. Usually there's a guidance in here for your fuse. I think this one said a 10 amp fuse. 13 gauge is the minimum wire size, but we'll run it through the Blue Seas wire size calculator app to make sure that we are in a good spot. 10 amp automotive style fuse, so, and a 13 AWG. So that'll be a starting point, but again, we'll double check with that little app. But yeah, so that's that. That's our first start. We'll, well, I'm gonna keep on going. This is gonna be fun. A little fabricating, a little plumbing, a little electrical. You know, you guys know I love my 12-volt electrical, so it's gonna be fun. All right, let's keep going.